Hello there and welcome back to Autism at Home, brought to you by us at Early Autism Project Malaysia through our non-profit initiative, the Hope Project. I'm Joshabet Isaacs and thank you again for joining us. This is officially our 30th series, which is all about puberty when it comes to children on the autism spectrum. And in this 6th lesson, we'll actually be discussing a safeguarding concept, the concept of public versus private. Now, this actually comes hand in hand with the concept of personal space and circle of friends or circle of people, which we will be discussing in the next lesson. Now, the area of safeguarding and boundaries is an area that many of our children struggle with, be it on the spectrum or not. Some of our kiddos genuinely do not realize that they should not come out of the bathroom until they're fully dressed, and perhaps when they were younger, well-meaning caregivers may have just changed them outside the bathroom or outside their bedroom, and so this concept of privacy may be confusing and totally not clear to them. And for other, perhaps more verbal children, conversations can be very confusing, as some topics are private with certain people and in certain situations, and it can just all be very gray. We've also heard of news of how individuals, not just individuals with autism, can actually get into some hot soup, sometimes even legal troubles due to not observing proper public and private social rules. And so we hope that using the language and concept of private and public will help make it a lot more distinct and to teach what is appropriate to do and to say in public and private settings in order to keep everyone safe, the individual's personal safety as well as the safety of others. So in teaching the concept of public and private to your child, parents can apply the following 5 steps when it comes to teaching this sort of concept or social skill. Firstly, you introduce the skill concept. Secondly, you actually sort visuals according to the categories. Thirdly, you model that appropriate social skill. Fourthly, you role play and you practice. And fifthly, you generalize in the actual situation. So let's start with step 1, introducing the skill concept. Parents can teach the definition of public and private for firstly, body parts, places, actions, then speech. Now let's unpack this together, starting with public. There are public body parts. Generally, the whole body is not a public area. But there are certainly public places, which include schools, restaurants, shopping malls, playgrounds, elevators, and you get the idea. At home, though, the more public areas are like the more common areas, for example, the living room, the kitchen. Now, public actions include handshakes, high fives, maybe brief side hugs, holding hands with family members. This will really need to go hand in hand with the concept of circle of people in the next lesson. Then public speech. Now, not public speaking, but more like appropriate topics to speak publicly. Include things like the weather, sports, schoolwork, music. They're typically topics that do not make others uncomfortable. They do not require sharing of personal information, essentially small talk. Next up, let's discuss the concept of private body parts. Generally, the whole body is private to us, but specifically, we need to identify private parts that should be covered at all times in public areas. Private places include the bedroom, the bathrooms, places where others can't see what you do or easily hear what you say, especially your private parts and private body parts. Other people shouldn't come into these private places without permission. Private actions include hugs, kisses, maybe touching private areas. This again will come hand in hand with the concept of circle of friends, things like sitting on your lap, cuddling. Then private speech or private topics are what we might call touchy topics, such as conversations around puberty, around private parts, sensitive topics like race, money, essentially personal and family information, which is to be kept within the closest family circle and in a private space. Step 2, you then sort this into categories. And in helping your child to understand the concept, you can do an activity with your child to sort various pictures, situations, and videos of firstly body parts that are public and body parts that are private, then places, then actions, and then topics of conversation, if applicable, into public and private. For example, in the areas of body parts, sorting which are more public, like hair, hand, feet, but which are absolutely private. Then in terms of places, spaces like living room, kitchen, school, public places, whereas bedroom and bathroom is a private area. Then in terms of behaviors like shaking hands, high fives, all those are more public behavior. Whereas touching our personal private parts or showering, going to toilet, all of those are private behaviors. And lastly, talking about the weather and sports. This could be more public, whereas sharing like an account password or bank details is strictly private. Which, by the way, online safety is a topic we'll be covering in a later lesson, I believe the last lesson. Now, for some children on the spectrum, the next 3 steps may be way too complex, and parents and caregivers may just need to prompt the appropriate expected behavior and reward when your child does so. For example, we would have a visual inside the bathroom by the door to remind a child to be fully dressed before exiting. And if a child started doing anything private, such as undressing themselves or touching themselves privately, we would need to immediately redirect them back to the bedroom or their bathroom. Now, step 3, modeling appropriate social skills, only if this is applicable. Most individuals learn by observing first. It's important for parents to demonstrate the skill to their child first. For example, give your child a scenario and demonstrate the responses before checking in with your child if that response was appropriate to the situation. This can be done via video modeling or live modeling. Step 4 is role play and practice. Now it's your child's turn to role play the skill. Conduct role play practices with your child. Your child is expected to demonstrate the appropriate social skills. And don't forget to pair these skills with reinforcement and give your child some feedback on how they demonstrated the skill. Try again if necessary and repeat these role play practices so that your child builds fluency in demonstrating the skill. And step 5 is generalizing in the actual situation. Once your child is fluent in demonstrating those skills during role play, allow your child to generalize the skill by intentionally setting up actual scenarios in a natural setting with different settings like grocery stores, elevators, and with different people, for example, grandparents and neighbors. Similarly, give your child feedback on how they demonstrated the skill and reward your child for demonstrating the appropriate skill. Now it's your turn. Identify a challenging public or private behavior or speech or topic that your child is facing. Teach the skill using those 5 steps. Firstly, introduce, sorting, model that appropriate social skill, role play, and then generalize in the actual situation. Remember to reinforce your child for demonstrating that appropriate behavior. And that's it for the concept of public and private. We really hope that helped you, and please do leave in the comments if this works for you, if you have any other tips to share, and just share with us where your journey is at. In the next lesson, we will be teaching all about boundaries, the concept of personal space, essentially within the concept of circle of people. We'll see you soon. Thank you very much for joining us today, and please do not hesitate to contact us if you need more personalized support. With the amount of interest we have received online, we have actually started providing international online services and have worked over the years with clients in other states of Malaysia, Singapore, Indonesia, Philippines, China, Kuwait, New Zealand, and Switzerland. So do get in touch with us for more information by scanning this QR code. And if you haven't already, do check out our online resource platform, Autism at Home, which has all the lesson videos, corresponding articles, and downloadables available for you at an extremely nominal donation of just $1 a month. So do stay updated through our social media platforms, YouTube, Facebook, and especially Instagram. Do click on the subscribe and follow buttons to get more information. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you very soon.